Oh, hey, welcome back. Another episode, book 30 today.
Yeah, excited about this one. It's one of my I think you read this one with me. I think The Body by Bill Bryson.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
read this one.
Yeah, so well actually I'd love to get well, since you read this one, you want to give a quick breakdown of the book itself? What it's about, just high level, just description.
Uh, I mean, to basically, best of my memory, I think it's talking about how your body is composed of a lot of different systems that works together,
Yeah. Great.
and it's just one of those things where it's much more than we think happens in our body, and it's a whole ecosystem of everything working together to make you who you are.
Exactly. I mean, it wasn't a very complicated book in terms of the topic, or sorry,
Hmm.
the overarching topic, and that's the beauty of a Bill Bryson book. I mean, I absolutely love Bill Bryson. He's probably my favorite author. I put it in this reflection here too. Like, I don't know that any of his books would ever crack like a top 10 or even a top 15 in my like overall, but just start to finish, like I don't know why. I just feel like I'm like on the like a little magic voyage, journey with him whenever I like embark on a Bill Bryson book. He's just an
Hmm.
incredible, and he can take the dullest topics and turn it into just like an amusement park of fun while you're learning at the same time.
Yeah,
And
I
it's like
mean,
it's like almost, yeah,
he's a good explainer.
yeah,
Taking something that is way technically over my head and put it into perspective and kind of give me a bridge for me to understand what's going on. And so, he has that skill.
agreed. It's almost like hypnotic too when he does it. I don't know. I like getting into a trance in a Bill Bryson book. It's just awesome. So anyway, the reflection title of this one is it's called We're All Miracles, so make the most of it.
Mhm.
Um, there was a couple really profound, like, for me, thoughts that I had from this book in particular. It started off, Bill started off the book just talking about our chemical composition of what makes up a human, and if you were to try to actually like create a human being, like how impossible, almost impossible it would be. Number one. Number two, then he starts to talk about how just the ability for you to be here every single day, for True to exist, for Chris to exist, for Blake to exist, is literally a miracle. Like the out of all the sperms and eggs of the world, all the different DNA, all the biology that's led up to this point in time, all the chemical makeup, all the bacteria that go on and make up our microbiome, all these things, for it to all to come together for True to exist, and be here in this world is literally a miracle. It's like one in a, probably a trillion chance or something like that for you to be here every single day. So I was blown away by that thought, and then the secondary thought that caught me in this whole book was, I don't know if you know this, and you probably do. I know you know this because you've read it, but for anybody listening, if they don't know this, the average animal in this world, like just any animal, whether it be an elephant or a mouse or a rabbit or a human, it's been found that everybody's heart has about 1 billion heartbeats. It doesn't matter how big you are, small you are, whatever. It's just the general consensus average of a mammal is you had about a billion heartbeats in your over the course of your lifetime. Some of them, some animals, their hearts may beat faster if you're like a little mouse and you need to stay warm. So they beat faster, so their lives end faster. Elephants, their hearts beat really slow because they don't need to keep themselves very warm, and their heartbeats are like, you know, incredibly slow, so they live a lot longer. Humans are kind of in the middle of that whole point, but bottom line is everybody gets about 1 billion heartbeats. So knowing that we're all miracles, knowing that we all get about 1 billion heartbeats, it's just a great reminder for myself, when I was reading this book to, uh, um, you know, we only have a finite number of heartbeats in this world, and I don't want to mess around with it. I want to take care of my body. I want to be here for a long time. I want to live my values, and I want to live for two for my daughter, and I want to, make the most of my heartbeats, I guess, for the rest of my life, and make the most of this miracle that we call life. And it was just a cool, just high level thought to take away from this book, and something I wanted to share with everybody. So turn it over to you, I guess, for get your thoughts, and The question for the group is what are you doing with your 1 billion heartbeats? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, so for me, it's one of those things where people take your existence for granted because, like you said, for you to exist is one in a huge number of odds, like trillions or whatever.
Right.
And the fact that you and I comes here is just because we don't see all of the event that didn't happen. Because just like if you say let's say we build a company, right? People only know you for your success, but not your failures. So you have 999 failures and one success, right? People only see the success,
Right.
right? So the fact that you and I exist is the success, but in the grand scheme of how the body, kind of build the system. I mean, these are in the trillions and beyond that. I mean, I can't even compute on that number.
It's remarkable.
So for you to exist is truly the miracle. I mean, I think it's even rarer than being miracles, because
Yeah.
the chance for you to be here with the system in place, with all the complexity it has, it is so small. It is
It's
so
almost
small.
it's mind blowing. I mean,
Yeah, it is mind blowing.
yeah. You're right. Like the reference points matter, right? That's many other reflections to come down the road, but
Right.
we all forget that, we're a literal miracle, like and to
Each
treat our
one of
lives
us
that way.
is a miracle, because the chances for us to exist, it's probably 1,000 times winning the lottery. I mean, that's how I see it, because of all, I mean, because like I was saying, like an example of having tried 1,000 times, 999 failures to see one success. And that's an example. And that example may be conservative as well.
Yeah.
And to have success with our business is simple. But to have the success of you and me in this complex system of the way we process our visions, the way our brains work, the way our conscious works, the way we have
our immunity system works, our
I mean,
gut works, our the microbiome works, I mean, it's just
right. So take that success and times, another trillions.
right.
So it's like trillions of trillions, of art for you and me to be here today. So and same for everybody else. They exist in that particular art. So I really agree with your reflection title. We are all miracles. You need to take that into account and be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
And make the most of it.
Yeah.
Versus say, hey, it's anybody's born. No, not everybody's born, because
Right.
you have a very, very lucky chance of being born. And so what are you doing with it? It's up to you.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay.
The
So back to the questions. What are you doing with your breathing heartbeat? So I want to put that into perspective. So we kind of on a consensus basis, a mouse has about has a heartbeat of about 600 heartbeat per minute.
right.
Right. An elephant heartbeat is about 30. Right.
Yep.
And so a mouse only live,
Couple years.
couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So a turtle is about 25. For
Yeah,
humans,
it's one of those old turtles. You see them. 100
yeah,
plus
that
year old
150
turtles all the time.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
150 years.
Yeah.
And for us humans, we have about a healthy humans about 60, 70. An average is about 80.
Right.
Right. A healthy is 60.
Yep.
So looking at the numbers from that perspective, if your heart beats slower, it has evidence that the heartbeats of a slower creature actually lives longer. Look at the
100%.
mouse versus elephant versus human versus
the
turtle.
I have a theory actually that this is why religion was founded, and like things like meditation and whatever. I think that people, I don't know that they knew this obviously, but I think that humans knew that if we can control your breathing and your heart rate, and in turn you can control your heart rate that way, that you live a longer life, and when you're stressed and your heart's beating really fast all the time, it causes all this different kind of crazy chaos. So like controlling the heart rate and controlling your heartbeat and having, we don't have a lot of control over a lot of things, but you do have control over your breath, and you do have control in turn somewhat over your heartbeat if you're controlling your breath and you're controlling your anxiety, your emotions and your anxiety. Right. Which means that this is my theory, is that like these people that started to experiment with this stuff, people saw that they were living longer, and then they were like, well, what are you doing? They're like, well, this is about like a deeper connection to all these other things and understanding how our bodies work and connecting it to the large world. Then they started to build theology around it, and they started to build all the other ideas around it. And people were like, yeah, you live longer when you believe in these things, and you're happier, healthier, you feel better. And it's kind of true. Like, this whole entire journey, I've always been a high strung person. But I can feel myself calming down these days, you know what I mean? Like in terms of how I, like, through writing and meditation, and not meditation, but like I meditate through writing, or I meditate through tennis or whatever it may be. But I can feel myself, becoming calmer, more relaxed, more in control of my heartbeats. I'm not saying I'm going to live longer because of that, but I think that there is something to, that whole entire 1 billion heartbeats kind of thing.
I think is evidence suggests that.
Right. Yeah.
Suggests that the slower the heart beats, the longer you live.
What do you think about the whole religion theory that and like Buddhism and all this other stuff that formulated around controlling your heartbeat?
Well, I think religion in a way it's just an observation of things around them, and what makes sense to them is what they formulate up. Hey, this is the axiom, the observations of what we should do, right? And doing so lends itself to more, longer life or better life or whatever the case may be. And, to me, it could be just a collections of observations over, thousands of years, and say, okay, if you do this, these are the related benefits.
Yeah. Or like Wim Hof. I mean, don't you slow down when you're getting in the cold water? The whole Wim Hof stuff, isn't that? Didn't you read that book? I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of the point of the whole Wim Hof method, is to control your heart rate?
Yes, because the heart rate, in the Wim Hof method, it allows you to control. If you can control your heartbeat, you can control your involuntary system.
Right. Yeah.
Right, because when you are cold, you need a lot of heartbeat to pump the blood, to make it warm, to kind of send. So you control the temperature of your body by having the heartbeat. And with the Wim Hof method, he's teaching you to be comfortable with not having the necessary quote unquote average heartbeats, because a lot of times your body doesn't need them.
Yeah.
And so he could lower his heart rate when he needs to. And by, kind of like exposing himself to the coldness, it activates a mechanism for the body to kind of be conditioned to having ability to withstand, maybe like when some people live in the mountain, they have thinner air, right? So they don't need to have as much oxygen in the body. So over time, the body adjusts to it.
Right.
But he has one method of kind of like elongating a person's life.
I mean, he's basically essentially just training his heart. I mean, it's like exercising every day. It's like being a marathon runner almost, where you rev it up, you train your heart, you get it all, good. And then all of a sudden, like when you're coming down, like you feel like you probably have a lot more control over your breathing and your heart rate and whatever, when you don't need. It's almost like a race car driver, when they start to conserve gas in the last few laps or whatever, like you don't need to push it as hard as you need to. You need to make it to the end and conserving gas or whatever, when you don't need it, and then race when you need to race.
Yes. Yeah, so to go back to the questions, in the question you asked, so I want to give you the perspective of what I know. So now that I know that lowering your heartbeats give you longer life. That's the theory that I have believed in by reading this book. And so what am I doing with my billion heartbeats? I'm going to conserve it. So how do I do that? The way that I do that is I'm living in a value that give me peace of mind. When I have peace of mind, I have less thing to worry about, less stress. My heart rate lowers.
Yeah.
And when I have the heart rate, and so I'm using my heart rate to get as much joy out of the process of living as much as possible. So that's my personal, what am I doing with my billion heartbeats is I'm going to make the most of it by having the best experience per heartbeat.
Yeah, I love it. That's fantastic. It's I don't know. It is kind of mind blowing. Like this book. I mean, I'm telling you, like this book was like the best journey ever through your own body. You know, I don't like. There's just so many times where I was like, oh, what? Oh, whoa. Like, I mean, I feel like that's every Bill Bryson book where you just take this hypnotic journey with him, and you're just learning so much. It's almost too much. Like, I mean, it thank God is such a good storyteller, and he writes so well, because there's so much information that you're learning through his writing that it's like it can be overwhelming sometimes, but at the same time, like he finds some way to make it just magical almost, you know, like learning fun, you know. So yeah, check out this book if anybody hasn't ever read it before. And the question you guys can ponder today is you know, what are you doing with your 1 billion heartbeats, and you know, making the most of every single day here. So yeah, looking forward to you know, tomorrow's conversation, and yeah, let's keep this thing going. This is fun.
Right. So we'll see you next time.